All right, guys. So today we're going to do a type of video I haven't done in quite a while. I haven't done a favorites list or my top list in this style of earbud or anything like that. And we just kind of hit the midway point through 2025. And so I figured now probably is a good time to cover or at least point out what are my favorite type of earbuds, or at least my favorite earbuds in each type. We've seen basically like the clip-on style earbuds become a huge thing this year. The ones that hang over, but it's still like open ear audio so that you can hear your surroundings. So I'm going to cover, at least give my favorites in those types and also just in regular true wireless earbuds in general. Now keep in mind, I am not somebody that talks on the phone a lot with my earbuds, so the mic is not a huge thing for me. I am not somebody that travels very often, so noise canceling is not a huge thing. I base a lot of my opinions solely on audio alone. And I also look at things from a value standpoint. I don't think, you have to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get the best of things. I think there's some really good gems out there. And those are usually the products that I kind of gravitate towards. So with saying all of that, the first one that I'm going to talk about, and this is the clip-on style, the one that kind of looks like an earring, and that is the Moondrop Pill. Now we've seen a ton in this design lately, but there's something about the pill coming in at $50. It has a very unique design, especially with the case, because it's made to look like a pill. It also swivels to kind of reveal where the earbuds are to be able to pull them out. And the earbuds themselves are using very large 13mm drivers. And there's just something about the way that Moondrop has tuned these. They sound very, very clear. There's a nice little punch in the low end, but the Moondrop Pill I just think has so much value, and it will last you a good while through the day because the battery life on these will get you 8 hours on a single charge. And I just think they're one of the best tuned clip-on style earbuds out there. And I think at $50, it's a hell of a value. So that's why I've included them on this list. Now, the next one on the list and the next style is the ones that kind of go over your ear, more like a sports style earbud, and it kind of hovers over your ear canal. So again, it's not, something that's sitting in your ear canal. Again, it's made to be able to hear your surroundings as well. And ever since the Soundcore AeroFit 2 came out, that has definitely been my go-to earbud. And I actually have the green version. That's my favorite out of all the colors they came out with. But there's something about them. It just has this premium feel. It's definitely one of the most comfortable ones that I've tried. I don't know if it's because it adjusts or just that it's so lightweight. I also like the fact that the case is really flat, so it's easy to just kind of put in your pocket. The whole point of this style of earbud really is also to kind of forget that you're even wearing them, so you can just wear them all day. That is definitely something I was able to do with the AeroFit 2. It supports LDAC playback, so you're getting, some of the best Bluetooth quality that you can get out of any style of earbud. It does also have 10 hours of battery life, and I feel like from this style of design earbud, it's one that has some of the best bass out there. And that's something that a lot of companies kind of have an issue with trying to replicate when they try to get them to sound like a normal pair of true wireless earbuds. But I do feel like Soundcore did a really good job with this. And that's kind of been my go-to for this style. So that's why the Soundcore AeroFit 2s are on this list. Now, the next earbud that I'm going to talk about, now this is just a regular pair of true wireless earbuds. This is if price didn't matter. If I wanted to go with what I feel like is the best sounding earbud, in my opinion, when it comes to true wireless earbuds, that one definitely has to go to the Noble Audio Focus Rex 5. I think this is the closest thing to an audiophile sound that you're going to get out of true wireless earbuds. Now, it really shouldn't be too much of a surprise because this is something that Noble Audio specializes in, but just the way that these are tuned, even the way that they look like a pair of IEMs, which, regular wired headphones and wired IEMs are my preferred way to listen to music. So out of the box, the fact that they just decided to kind of give you that IEM feel with the earbud itself, it has that same approach when it comes to the sound. I just really enjoy these. Now, it's just not from a brand that a lot of people are going to know of. They do come in at $450, so it is not cheap. I don't see a lot of people spending this kind of money on true wireless earbuds, but if you are an audiophile or somebody that's really serious about your music, maybe the $450 isn't that bad. But this one has definitely been my go-to if I want to really just enjoy and pick apart things in music, but not be tied down to a wire or an amp or anything like that. So the Noble Audio Focus Rex 5, in my opinion, is the best sounding true wireless earbud out there. Now, another one that I kind of wanted to throw in here that's falling into this same category of being more of a higher end sound, or one that, you know, where the price doesn't necessarily matter, that is the Technics AZ100. Now, this one comes in at $299, so still pretty pricey, but this kind of puts it in line with the Sony and the Bose, the AirPod Pros, all in that kind of price range. But I feel like the Technics AZ100 just sounds miles better than those other ones. Now, I don't think they sound as good as the Rex 5 that I just mentioned, but I think these are a little more well-known. There's a little more accessible. I think I've even seen them like at B&H when I was up there in New York. The advantage over these over the Noble Audios is I do feel like the noise canceling is really good in the AZ100s. I just love the tuning on these. Again, it's very, very similar to some of the more audiophile, you know, we're going to say audiophile, but more higher end IEMs that I really like to listen to. And I love the different customization and things that you get with it. And I think the sound is just top notch. So I wanted to briefly mention the Technics AZ100s. Now, the last one on this list, this so far has been my biggest surprise of the year, and that is the Skullcandy Method 360 ANC. Now, I never thought that I would put a Skullcandy earbud in my top favorite list, but this one, they actually did a collaboration with Bose. So Bose tuned the sound on these, and they sound fantastic. They are very, very similar to the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra true wireless earbuds. I feel like the sound just shares a lot of similarities. I feel like there's a lot of customization, but the way that they're tuned out of the box, I don't even feel like you really need to mess with these at all. And I think that $100 price tag, although I think they've now gone up to their $129 that, you know, Skullcandy said that they were going to go to after they had been released for a month or two, but you can still find like the XT model of these for $100. So we're just going to say these are $100. Now, I do want to point out, I am not a big fan of the huge case on these. I like a smaller profile when it comes to the case. I also don't think that the noise canceling is fantastic. I don't think it's some of the best out there. I've heard better even at that under $100 price tag. If I'm going out and I just need noise canceling because I'm traveling, I'm going to grab the Sony WF-1000X M5s. That's my go-to for noise canceling, but it's not my favorite when it comes to sound. So it has a specific need if I'm grabbing those. I think they're just overpriced for what they are. Again, it's always going to come down to the user itself. So don't just take my word for it, but I wanted to do a video because we cover so many of them. And you guys always ask, like, if it were my choice, what would I go to? So these are the ones that I do go to in these different situations. But guys, that wraps up my video on what are my top earbuds in each category. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.